F9 comes to theaters Friday, June 29th. But with 10 movies over 20 years, it's hard to keep track of all the flips and tires and explosions and big bish, bish, bish. I certainly didn't have time to rewatch all the movies before it comes out. But my buddy Jeff did. Wave, Jeff. He's gonna walk you through all the movies a quarter mile at a time.
The Fast and the Furious. Our main guy, his name's Brian. He's got to infiltrate a gang of street racers who ended up stealing a bunch of electronics like DVD players. Gang of street racers, which is Dom, Dom's girlfriend, Letty, and Dom's sister, Mia. Brian goes in, he's got a love interest with Mia. Brian earns Dom's respect. Turns out they were the ones stealing the stuff the whole time, but Brian still loves and cares for Dom and his crew. Brian loves the crew because it's the first time he feels like he's part of the family. Being in the family is everything. It's all about drinking Coronas and barbecuing out in East LA. He races Dom one last time in a drag race. Dom wins, but the car flips over. The police are coming for him. Brian gives Dom his keys, and Dom just drives off into the sunset. Too fast, too furious. Brian's still our main guy. Problem is, Brian's reputation's in shambles. He's given an assignment where he has to go infiltrate this gang in Miami. He gets to choose his partner. He chooses Tyrese, who's his old best friend from back in the day. He joins up so he can get his name cleared. They go to Miami. They meet Ludacris, who's awesome. In order to stop the drug dealer, they have to take their cars and they have to crash them onto a yacht. Brian's got his reputation repaired. Tyrese has his charges cleared. Tokyo Drift. We got this southern dude. We've never met him before. He's in none of the previous movies. He gets into this accident from drag racing and he gets sent to Japan as punishment for some reason. He meets Little Bow Wow and most importantly Han. Han teaches him how to drift. Drifting, it's not about going fast forward. It's about going fast but also braking and turning. The main bad guy in this one is this dude named the Drift King. His dad's this rich millionaire. Han gets into a car accident and gets T-boned and Han dies. And then the Drift King and our Southern dude, they end up drifting down a mountain. The Southern dude, he wins, and he's the new Drift King of Tokyo. Dom, from the first movie, he comes back and says, oh, you know my buddy Han. We're like family. 4, Fast and Furious. No thes. We're in Latin America. Dom and his crew are there. Han's there. He's part of the crew. Why is he alive? We don't know, but we're happy because Han's the best. They do a job, they're happy, but guess what? No, they're not because Letty dies. So Dom reaches out to Brian. They have this job where they're going to take down this Mexican drug lord by stealing a bunch of stuff and then driving through this whole thing of tunnels on the U.S. side of the U.S.-Mexico border. They kill the drug dealer and the police are coming. And Dom sacrifices himself. He gets himself arrested because he knows that Brian would die in prison because he used to be a cop. And Dom gets arrested and now he's going to federal supermax. That's where that movie stops and Fast 5 starts right there. Dom gets breaking out of prison. The team, they flip over the prison bus and then they bust Dom out. They're on the lam right now, so they're in Brazil. And you know it's Brazil because there's a giant Jesus on a mountain. While they're in Brazil, they got this bad guy and he's got a bunch of money in a safe. And then the guys, they all get together and go, we're taking that safe. They get the whole team together. I'm talking Tyrese is there, Ludacris, Gal Gadot, she and Han. They fall in love. Mia's pregnant. Brian's the father. So The Rock is part of the government hunting after them with a hot Brazilian cop. Dom and The Rock, they get into a fist fight and it's just piles of muscles just punching each other. So while the crew's being taken into custody, the crew gets ambushed by the Brazilian mob. Firefight breaks out and the crew ends up beating the mob. The Rock's now indebted to them. He allows them to do the safe heist. So they're gonna rob this Brazilian criminal's vault. They're gonna steal the thing by just taking the whole vault, dragging it down the street and hitting stuff, and then they all become millionaires. 6, Fast and Furious 6. Our bad guy, he's Owen Shaw. The Rock, he reaches out to the Dom and the crew to help bring him down. Dom doesn't want to do it, but shows him something that is important. It's Letty, and she's still alive, but she has amnesia. They end up having to fight a tank, which they win, and then they go onto this big plane that they have to take down. On the world's longest runway that's 14 miles long, they take down the plane. Gal Gadot, she dies, and Han said, Letty, she's now good, and she's got her memory jogged. And the crew's got their clean records, and they're grilling in LA. The Brazilian cop, she shows up, and Dom and Letty are going together. She's just like, you guys do you, I'll be lonely and sad by myself. Remember in Tokyo Drift where Han gets T-boned? It happened now. It's Jason Statham, so 3 is actually 6.5 when you think about it. Furious 7. We have crossed the Rubicon. We're no longer about stealing DVD players and souping up Honda Civics. We're basically James Bond meets the Avengers, meets dudes who are really into Hellcats. Jason Statham wants revenge on The Rock. They fight. Super secret military government guy, Kurt Russell, he recruits his team to take out Jason Statham. They skydive their cars out of an airplane, and then they end up having to fight Ronda Rousey. They steal a car, and they jump it from one skyscraper to the other, and from the other skyscraper to a third. Then they go back to LA. So The Rock looks out of his hospital window and just knows trouble is happening. He flexes his cast off and now he's able to punch. Jason Statham's team, they've got a drone. The Rock, he ends up stealing an ambulance and crashing into the drone and taking out the drone. Then Dom goes LA Street Justice right on Jason Statham. Boom, Jason Statham's taken care of. So this is the movie that Paul Walker died in real life. And because of that, Brian's retired from the game. He just goes and settles down with Mia and his little baby. Him and Dom, they do one last street race down the road and their paths veer off and Brian just drives off into the sunset. R.I.P. Paul Walker. 8 of the Furious. Charlize Theron, she steals Dom's baby, and that woman in Brazil that he met, they were dating, and they had a love child. So he's got to go and kill a bunch of people. Also, Jason Statham and The Rock are now in jail together, and they bust out of there eventually. Those two have to team up to take out Charlize Theron. That Brazilian girl, she's dead. They killed her. So Charlize Theron, she hijacks this Russian submarine. So we're in Russia right now. The Shaw brothers, that's right, the other one's still alive too. They end up strapping on jetpacks and flying into the plane, and they take out everybody there, and they steal Dom's baby. So now that Dom knows his baby's safe, he's a good guy, and he takes his car and he ends up turning it around and crashing it into the nuclear submarine. It's blown up, and Charlize Theron, she's not a problem no more. They go back to East LA and they're barbecuing again. Guess what? Corona's in mi familia. It's all good. And that kid's name is gonna be Brian. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Oh, by the way, Hobbs and Shaw, that's The Rock and Jason Statham. I should have said that earlier. It's fine. They're teaming up reluctantly. They don't want to. They have to go take down Idris Elba, who's Superman, basically. They fight a little bit in London, and then they go to Samoa, where The Rock's from. The Rock meets up with the rest of his familia. They take all of their tow trucks and hook it onto a line, and it takes down the helicopter, and then they fight Idris Elba, and the only way they can fight him together is with the power of friendship.
What's your favorite movie?
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift. What's the best action sequence?
In the whole series?
Whole series.
Hobbs and Shaw, when they take all their tow trucks to tank down the helicopter.
Why are you excited about F9?
Heard some rumors that it might involve space.
Folks, if you
like this video, give us a call and say, hey, I liked your video. If you didn't like the video, we're very sorry. We did the best we could. Jeff, are you a movie guy?
Not really.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Not really.
Would you call yourself an intelligent person?
A little.
All right, everybody say thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, America.
And other countries.
No.
No!